Hello, this is Survival-gyver, and today we're taking a look at a brand I do not like anything on, at least for their knives and multi-tools. This is a Smith & Wesson. Um, yeah, I don't even like their shoes. I've had trouble with them. So this is a budget multi-tool. That's kind of like half carabiner, half knife. Yeah, it's got all sorts of weird stuff in it. So, whoop, almost dropped it. It's lightweight, and I would call it budget, meaning it's cheap. It's less than $20. I actually think I paid less than $15 for this. It does say Smith & Wesson on it, right there. It is super dull right out of the package. And what's the sound back here? Whatever that means on the back, 12103050404. I'm sorry, 0624. So maybe a serial number or something of that nature. But yeah, so let's go over this weird little stuff about this. This is a carabiner knife multi-tool thingamajig. I mean, it looks cool. That's about it. Couple of weird things here. So it does have a carabiner. That's the main part there. You can see it doesn't always close. It doesn't actually line up all the time. It's very easy to make it go out of alignment. And it is locking, so you can just turn this knob and it goes all the way to the top, and now it's locked. There's still a little bit of movement, but it's locked. Now, every carabiner I've ever had has a rating on it. You know, good for 100 pounds, good for 1,000 pounds. And this has no rating on it at all. And the couple of times that I have tested this with my backpacks, it's good for about 3 pounds. So, kind of disappointing for the price, but not much of a surprise. Let me show you a comparison. As a comparison, here's the carabiner that I use on my keys. All right, now this is an actual climbing carabiner made by Petzl. This is the gin. And there's the ratings on the side. Of course, it's in newtons, but unfortunately, that's how most of these are. Single gate. This is a non-locking one, but it's nice and solid. All right. And this, I think, $10, something like that. It's not a lot. Let's take a look at this. So we'll unlock it again. Sounds like it needs lube. So yeah, you can do that, but it doesn't always go back to where it needs to go. You fiddle with it, it'll pop back in, but it doesn't always go. So again, 3 pounds, which is less than most of the really cheap, like 60-cent carabiners you find on Amazon or in Home Depot or Lowe's in just a generic bin. So I would not rely anything on that, just so you know. All right, so it is what it is. On this end, wouldn't be a multi-tool without a bottle opener. So there's a bottle opener right there. It's a really small one, but it's there. It also has a glass breaker, which is threaded. And, well, this one I can't get off. I did thread lock it on, though, so it's blue thread locker holding it on, because it came right off the first time I opened it up. On this side, you have a small flathead screwdriver. They tell you on the packages do not pry, because if you pry, it bends really easily. It's actually a little off already. It's not quite straight, but there is a small little flathead driver there. On the opposing side, you can see it there, is a small Phillips head screwdriver. Now, these are non-locking, so you can go back and forth with them all you want. They don't lock. And the more that you open them up and close them, the looser they get. But they are held in by these tiny little screws, so it probably just needs to be tightened. So it's not great. I mean, the Phillips head at least has a little bit of a gap so it comes out a little bit. But if you're using the flathead, you're going to be like right up against whatever you're trying to screw or unscrew to get to that. So that might be a problem. And last but not least, you have this knife. It's got just the opening here. It's not a thumb stud. It's not an auto assist of any sort. You just use your finger. It does open up pretty well, considering. See if I can get in there to show you. Right there, it's just nylon washers. So the operation's pretty smooth. I will say that. It's not bad on that end. The blade does not sit anywhere near center. It's off to one side. So alignment's not great, but again, it's a cheap knife. There is no information on Smith & Wesson on this anywhere that I can find that tells me what kind of steel it is, but it's dull as hell. So I'm going to think, because of the price range, it's probably a 3 or 5 CR stainless steel of some sort. I don't even know if it's stainless. Does not take an edge very well, because I did try to sharpen it initially and it doesn't like to sharpen. But it also doesn't cut paper. It doesn't even cut toilet paper. It doesn't cut cardboard. I had no luck with this, trying to get this to sharpen nicely. It does have a decent profile, but it's definitely wonky. It's pretty solid this direction, not so much in the opposite direction. It bends a little bit. But the only thing I can think of on this, the way the carabiner is set up, I can't tell you what it suggests, but I can show you. So, you know, you'd never want to punch somebody with this, but maybe to scare somebody in a defensive fashion, you know, you could probably do something like that, but I am not suggesting it in any sort of way. But that's just what it feels like it should do, because the way that this is designed, it feels like it's set up that way, or even backwards, you know, where it blades down. But I know there are weapons like that, but you probably break this in your hand in the process. But maybe as to scare somebody that doesn't know how crappy the knife is, might be okay with it. Just so you know, it is a liner lock. And the liner lock is actually decent. It's a little stiff, especially with my left hand. Right hand wise, you can do it. And you can close it one hand. You can open it one hand. You just have a better chance of getting a paper cut trying to cut paper with it. But other than that, it's not bad. So, does it have potential? No. Because the weakness of the carabiner, the blade, of course, you can try to sharpen or put it on a grinder and get it to some better profile. The little multi-tool ends kind of suck for the most part. Bottle opener works, and I have no way of testing the glass breaker, but it is pointy, so it should, in theory, work. Of course, that's in theory. It looks cool. It looks like if you took this apart and cut the carabiner section of it off, yeah, you would lose the bottle opener, but you'd have the glass breaker on the end and the knife. That might be a better style pocket knife. Again, the blade is not great, but if you're going through all that work anyway, you may just have a blade that you can replace it with. Maybe a better profile, maybe something different. So that should work. So it's more like a builder knife at that point, but takes some work. But for the price, it's not bad. I did have a hard time finding it on Amazon. It is there. I will link the description when I can find it again. Otherwise, I'm just going to give you a generic link to wherever I can find it. All right, so that is it. Thank you for watching. Questions or comments, leave them below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and have a glorious night.